now 7:02 p.m. We're going to call the meeting of January 27, 2014 to order. Everyone please rise for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Clerk, call roll, please.
Sturritt?
Here.
Hart?
Here.
Conan?
Here.
Bullock?
Here.
Ballard?
Here.
Hooper?
Here.
Audie?
Here.
Everyone has the agenda in front of them tonight. Is there anything to add, delete, or is there a motion at this time?
Madam President, I'll move that the agenda be accepted as presented.
Motion by Mr. Ballard. Is there a second?
Support.
Support by Mr. Clark. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Motion carried. Any citizen comment on non-agenda items? Any citizen comment? Hearing none, we have no presentations tonight. We are now under administrative reports. We have FMV report, treasurer's report, CDBG committee meeting, and planning commission meeting minutes. Is there anything anyone would like to address?
Madam President, may I go first?
Please.
You have November and December's F&B reports. Chuck was not able to be here tonight. He has a doctor's appointment, or had a doctor's appointment, and he wasn't going to work. I've been meeting with Chuck every week. Obviously, we've been going over the S2 grant information and keeping tabs on the plant with the budget coming up. So I feel I have kind of a general idea of what's going on over there if anybody has any questions. The November report does have a lot of receipts in there. Some of us talked about it earlier. That, of course, is related to the power being out from Sunday to Thursday around noon. Council, I think I made you guys all aware of that problem. Other than that, it seems to be running just fine, and there's no problems other than the normal stuff we have to repair, which we were kind of waiting on some of them for the S2. And we'll continue with that in the next budget year.
Any questions for Mr. Sturritt? Hearing none? Anyone want to go next?
I will. We had our CDBG committee meeting with the county. I don't remember when that was, maybe 10 days ago or so. Went through several ideas. I can't even give you a number of things that we shot back and forth. Unfortunately, nothing can be resolved in that meeting because they have to go back and talk to PUD, and then they got to come back with me. And the way we had left it was she was going to look into whether the portion of the water and sewer work that's in the DDA could be covered with CDBG. Unfortunately, it doesn't sound like it. One of the other things was our bridge, the Teat Street culvert. We talked a lot about that because of the health and safety issues. If we close down the Prospect Street Bridge, there's no way for ambulances or anybody really, they'd be shut off. They wouldn't have a way in or out. She was looking into that. She did email me back on that. It does not sound like that is going to work. I haven't talked to her directly yet. One of the things is when you have a health and safety issue, and I'm not sure if this is true for CDBG all the time or if it's just this, if you're going that route, is it has to be a new problem. Well, the Teat Street culvert is not a new problem. It's been closed down for 10 years. Another thing is you cannot combine it with another grant. Well, we got a grant. So I haven't talked to her really in depth with that. I wanted to talk to Andy about it and talk to her more to see if there's a way to make it work. I have not heard that yet. The fire department, again, has, I think I informed you last time that they have asked for some equipment. That is something that we're probably, that probably would be eligible, some work at the senior center, but again, I really wasn't looking to take all the projects that the township was going to do with their money next year and put it towards that. Right now, we're still kind of in limbo on what to do. I have to try to get another committee meeting together as quickly as possible just to go over more in detail what I found out to see if there's any other ideas. I appreciated the fact that Councilman Ballard was there and Councilman Clark was there, along with most of the committee. I think it was informative for everybody. I think everybody got a pretty good idea of how things work and how difficult sometimes it is. Caitlin was there also, so I think, so was Andy. So, is there anything that either of you would like to add from being there? Anything that stuck out that?
No, it's discouraging. I thought we were on.
Oh, I thought we were on a great
there.
track
Yeah.
there. I was kind of excited.
One thing that I think, one thing that I noted was you have to be careful on some of the projects because when you go CDBG, it pushes you into a David Bacon
Davis
situation.
Bacon.
And she did mention that there's a project they did where it ended up costing them more money by going CDBG route
Because of
the
Davis Bacon.
requirements of the.
Right.
So, there's a lot to think about
Yeah.
when you're doing these, trying to spend this money. It's not as easy as you think.
No, it really isn't, and it's unfortunate. I mean, I had several ideas from from residents, from council people, from board people. Andy, I've had several ideas. I thought we touched base pretty much. I mean, not all of them while they were here. It's kind of just sticking a pole in the water and seeing what bites, and hoping that something will stick. I was, like I said, I was pretty encouraged by the bridge until I got that email. So, but unfortunately, I haven't had a chance to talk with Andy about it. I haven't had a chance to talk to her about it more in detail. But that's where we stand. So I just wanted everybody to know. Is there anything you want to add, Lyle? You were
Nope.
there too?
So,
Yeah. We talked about income surveys, whether CDBG would pay to have people do that, and
basically, she said on that, then it would come out of the $20,000.
out of but there is no administrative money right now for the
Right.
county, and nor will there be.
No,
So
but that would come out of our 90,000. That would be $20,000 out of our 90,000.
No.
That's what I understand.
Okay, well, the way I understood it was that, see, they have an administrative, that we can put like $2,000 towards administrative, to like offset the time that, we spend at meetings and preparing things and projects like that, the master plan, some of that fell under administrative. Right now, the county, the way I understand it, is that the county does not have administrative funds to give. So we won't even be able to put $2,000 towards our, side. So it's confusing and it's frustrating, but I'm not despaired yet. I think we can all come up with something, but that's kind of where we stand. So that, in a nutshell, was our meeting, and it was a good meeting. I was very happy that the county showed up. I was glad that we could bounce every idea off of them. They were very open to that and very helpful. Unfortunately, they don't make the decision. HUD does. I mean, they can help steer something, but if it's not HUD approved, it's not HUD approved. So that's where we're at.
So if anyone has any ideas,
Shoot 'em
please
to me.
email Michelle.
Yep, shoot them to me and we'll see. So,
Any other questions? Thank you.
oh, yeah.
Any other administrative reports?
Just a note on the planning commission, at our last meeting, the January meeting, we approved the minutes from the September meeting, the October meeting, and the December meeting. I think we've got copies of these in here. Just a note, the meeting dates for, the meeting dates here are listed under December. So if any of us are interested in coming, we'd be really welcome. And prior to your coming, it's always good to check check with Michelle, because sometimes if they have no business, they don't have a meeting. I think last year they had 7 regular meetings, not 12, even though they set up all 12. Oddly enough, the January minutes are, well, we haven't approved
You haven't
them, I
approved
guess
them
that's
yet.
why.
Yep.
Right.
So the January minutes will be here, but mainly the January meeting was for approving the DDA budget, which I think we approved at our last meeting.
Yep. Okay, any questions for Mr. Cohen? Hearing none, any other administrative reports or liaison reports? Hearing none, we'll move into general business. First is our consent agenda, which is our approval of the regular council meeting minutes of January 13th, 2014, and payment of bills. Is there anything anyone would like to pull, or is there a motion at this time?
Madam President, I'll move the consent agenda be accepted as presented.
Motion by Mr. Ballard, is there a second?
Support.
Support by Mr. Clark. Any other discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Motion carried. We have no old business tonight. First item under new business is the bridge project. Are there any public comments? Any public comments? Hearing none. Street Administrator Ballard, this is your agenda item.
Well, tonight we were supposed to have a price from Nichols Webster, so that we could move right into our bridge project. Unfortunately, it did not make it through. I guess Andy's been pretty busy. So what I want to do is I'd like to table this till our next regular meeting of 2/10/2014 to bring the bridge project back.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions for Mr. Ballard?
And Andy, you'll just send me a summary and a motion so I can, okay. All right.
Do we need a motion on that?
No, not
Okay.
table.
All right. Moving on.
Well, do you? I don't know, now that I say that out loud.
Thought we did. but-
You can. It
Okay,
it won't
I'll
hurt, it
move-
won't hurt to have one.
Right, I'll move that we table it till our next regular meeting on 2/10/2014.
Motion by Mr. Ballard, is there a second?
Support.
Support by Mr. Clark. Any other discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Motion carried. Next agenda item is set the CDBG public hearing date. Are there any public comments? Any public comments? Hearing none. Ms. Polis, is your agenda item?
Well, like we do every year, we have to set our budget here, our public hearing for the CDBG distribution. I'm asking you to do it the second meeting in February, which is the last point that we can do it, so we have to be ready to allocate at that time. Again, we can do the 15% to the nonprofits, which I have that information gathered. I don't have it, I have it, it's not compiled yet, but I have it. But I'll have that for you, hopefully shortly, within the next couple weeks, so.
Can't put it towards snow removal or anything like that?
No, you gotta benefit low to moderate income. It's very difficult.
gotta be a
We're all
no-brainer.
low income here.
Yeah.
This should be a no-brainer.
Unfortunately, the census does
Yeah, I was
not
gonna say, the
qualify
census
us,
didn't
does
say
not
that.
qualify the village of Armada as low to moderate income. I'm not saying that there isn't low to moderate income
There is some.
residents, I'm just saying that there's not like a section of town or the whole town that is classified as that.
Michelle, are you gonna have the other options for us to decide? Like, do you have to declare projects prior to our approval? at this
We have
meeting,
to,
or
we
how does
have
it work?
to, what you have to do is yes, you do. You have to take your allocation for your 15% for your nonprofits. I expect they will be here like they usually are. And then the other 85%, we have to be ready to
But
put
do
to
we
a
already
project.
have to have project numbers, or?
Not,
can we-
no, the county numbers them, but we have to have, I have to have my application in. It's not February, but it's shortly thereafter. So we do have to allocate because you have to, we'll have to name something and have it allocated.
How about more permanent bike racks downtown?
That's what
That
I've
we-
been asking about.
We've asked about it, it
In
doesn't,
the
because,
DDA.
but the DDA, that wasn't part of the blight.
Could we do a playscape in the park?
Nope, tried that too.
Kids
Can't
aren't
even do
allowed
it.
to come.
Can't even do an ADA playscape. Yeah, I tried
I had
that a while ago.
I had a question. What if we gave the money to Armada Biking Board as a program administrator? They're a nonprofit, and then they install them downtown.
They have to be an eligible recipient of CDBG,
They
which
have to
means
be
they have
listed,
to. They have to be listed
For
through
the
the county.
nonprofits.
So they have to apply through the county.
Yes.
Correct.
Could I have them do that and hold
They-
the
they don't
program?
It
have
won't make
time.
it for this year.
Yeah, I don't. Well, I'm not saying that for sure, but I would doubt that they have time.
No, it's too
I don't think
late.
they can, because I contacted her about a different organization in a different community.
Yeah.
And I used to do it, and
Yeah.
there's a deadline, I think, in
And their
December.
deadline, their deadline is
And
way
you have to
before
come up with a
ours.
whole plan.
Plan.
It's not simple.
Income
It's
statements,
it's a lot.
But that's something that any organization that's interested in receiving money would have to do that on their own.
But they could
We're not-
start working on it for the township next year.
We're not, we don't do that end of it. We give the money, we don't receive it, so it's a different process.
And it would still qualify, we can only do what is it, 20% or 15%? Yeah, they would qualify under that. We can't just give them the municipality portion of it.
Because that is where
And
it's
do they
important.
not only have to be nonprofit, but they have to be, their projects have to be designated for the low to moderate income?
Correct.
Or you wouldn't be able to prove that with a
How would you prove that with, and I'm not part of that group, but they'd have to prove that it would be benefiting.
For like,
Low to moderate income.
just to go back to the
Yeah.
ASAP portion of
Right.
it, I had to have everyone who received a scholarship through ASAP fill out an income statement. Every person that received money had to fill out, and they had to be
They had to
low
qualify.
to moderate income before I could even give them any money. Once it was even designated to
So
me.
my bike racks are not gonna.
You know what, because in the DDA, I thought it was listed under the blight, which it's not, because she looked at it was benches and trash receptacles and that for downtown. Years ago, when we first did that, that was one of the things that when Mike Connor was there and Mike Grosny, we talked about doing the trash receptacles, nice benches, and that won't even qualify.
Unless we sit there and income qualify everyone who sits down on them.
Yeah.
And even then.
It gets, I mean, and I'm not mocking the point of CDBG, it's just very difficult. If if we were in East Point or Mount Clemens or Warren, they have low to moderate income areas because they're much larger than us, of course, we're 1 square mile. It's very, very difficult.
If you're in a low income group, could you like pave a street if the majority
No,
of them?
streets are almost impossible to do because you have to prove who uses the street.
The homeowner doesn't
The homeowner
necessarily
doesn't,
use the
they're not
street.
the only users of the street, because that's where, like, they would
Common
say, like,
sense would say they're the primary use.
well, common sense would, but that
We don't have
does
the
not.
Department of Common Sense.
Yeah. Well,
Because
it
we got
doesn't-
some small, like First Street, I don't
Yeah.
know what the income thing would be,
But that, you have to prove who uses it. That's, like, their example for that is always, Van Dyke and, I'm gonna say Warren, or, or Sterling Heights, whatever. There may be areas that would be low to moderate income based, residence-wise, but all the people that use Van Dyke are not. So that's, and if you have like a church, because we even looked at, this Carter Burke Street up there, a church, they have to income survey anybody at the church because they're using the street. It's a process that I've learned more about than I ever thought I would understand, but,
How are our sidewalks holding up?
so far so good.
Good.
But the sidewalks are difficult because you can't, it's.
there's no police equipment you could give?
No, the reason the fire department could qualify is because they have on record how many transports, only the ambulance, not the fire department, the ambulance service. Because 2/3 of their ambulance runs are elderly, low moderate income. And they can prove that through Medicaid and some other group, they can prove that. So that's how, and I'm not even sure if they got into the rotation yet to be able to qualify. I have to talk to Carrie about that, because that might take that off the books too. The county can only distribute, they get however millions of dollars they get, or hundreds of thousands, I don't know what the amount is. They get their allotment. 15% of their allotment can go to help nonprofits. Not every community takes their 15% and gives it to the nonprofits because they have areas that qualify. So they can take their whole 90,000, many communities it's much more than that. But they can take their whole allotment and use it in their community, which is exactly what it's set up to do. Could we take our 90,000 and put it all to nonprofits? Yeah, we probably could if we did it quickly.
She said that the public services submitted to you were $52,000.
Yeah,
That would be every organization.
every organization that
requested
asked
money.
us for money, and it's still not our whole 90. So-
But that is an option if we can't come up
It
with
is.
anything and say the fire ambulance doesn't progress.
Mhm.
That is an option that we can maybe give to some of the other organizations because they're gonna be strapped.
They
They're
are.
only getting money if they're in Armada every 2 out of 3 years, so.
Right. That third year,
you know,
they're not.
Or we could do it to loan it to the township and then they could give us money back next year if we need it, because we have a program that
We could do that.
qualifies.
We could do that. That is, they don't, you know, she
So we could
kind of
split it with them.
poo-pooed that a little bit.
Yeah, she said there were
because-
strings attached
Yeah.
to that too.
Yeah, there's more strings.
Oh, because they
than-
might not have that same amount of money.
They
It
don't
isn't-
get
Well,
the loan.
and financing may not, CDBG may not even be there.
Right,
Right.
right.
There was more to it than that, and I don't want to go on record and say, because I'm not gonna, I don't remember right now off the top of my head, because there was a lot more to that than what I've always believed, because I've always believed that was an option. You know, fortunately, we've always had projects that qualified. This year, we're just, everything that I'm putting forward is just, it's not even getting into the planning stage. It's just getting to the, you know, you can't do it.
So we need,
So-
wait, you have a proposed public hearing date here and time. Do you want to keep it at the 7:15 or do you want to move it earlier?
That's up to you. I mean, if you want to move it to, you hate to do
We entered in, we
7:05.
got to that one at 7:11
Yeah.
time,
Yeah,
so.
so let's just do 7:15 is an easier rounder number.
Because Jeff always said you can always move it back.
Yeah,
But if we have nothing else on the agenda, we'll be sitting here for 10 minutes. But we can always say it's at 7 o'clock.
Right.
And that way
Yeah.
we can go into it at any time.
yep, you could, that's fine. If you want to do that, that's fine.
Is that okay with everyone?
That sounds better to me.
Okay.
Madam President, I'll resolve to set the public hearing date February 24th, 2014, at 7 o'clock PM for CDBG distribution.
Motion by Mr. Ballard, is there a second?
Support.
Support by Mr. Audi. Any other discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Motion carried. Thank
Please
you.
send me any ideas. That's open to residents, that's open to anybody. I mean, anything could stick, you just don't know.
Okay, thank you so much. The next agenda item is Busy Bee Disposal Contract. Are there any public comments? Any public comments? Hearing none. Ms. Polis, this is yours again.
Okay. This is our dumpster that the DPW uses down by the garage. We do this every year. I believe it's the same price as it was last year. If we pay the whole year up front, that's why it's $814. We pay the whole year up front, then they give us a month free. So that's, and this
I
is-
did check with Becky and it was the exact. amount
Yeah,
from
yeah,
last year.
I thought so.
I knew that would come up.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
I'll make a motion to approve the contract between the Village of Armada and Busy Bee Disposal effective February 1st, 2014 through February 1st, 2015 in the amount of $814.
Motion by Mr. Sturt, is there a second?
Support.
Support by Mr. Ballard. Any other discussion? I believe it's a roll call.
Did we bid this out? I remember voting on it last year.
Last year we did bid it out and they were the lowest,
Okay.
and it's the same price.
Did we? All right.
You know, would it be okay to change that end date through January 31st rather than February 1st, because they're both the
I
same
will
date?
agree.
Yep.
Yeah,
It's okay with Mr. Sturt?
Yes.
It's okay with Mr. Ballard?
okay. I just
Okay.
don't see that on their thing. Okay. Stirrett,
Yes.
Ballard,
Yes.
Wolock,
Yes.
Audi,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Cooper,
Yes.
Conan.
Yes.
Motion passes. Thank you. Next agenda item is resignation from Planning Commission. Are there any public comments? Any public comments? Hearing none, we have a resignation, sadly, from Miss Maddie, Lisa Maddie from the village, resigning her post from the Planning Commission. Someone could please accept her resignation with regret. I would appreciate it.
I'll go ahead, this is you, your plan.
Okay, I'll move to accept the resignation of Lisa Maddie from the Planning Commission with regret.
Motion by Mr. Conan. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Mr. Sturt. Any other discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Motion carried. We need to advertise again?
I was gonna talk to you, I talked to Dave briefly on this today, because he asked me the same thing. I'm not sure, I mean, I can put it in the Armada Times, I always do. I never get a bite, so
Can
I'm
we put it
wondering.
on the website?
I could put it on the website, I could put it on the window, I could, which I always do anyways, we can put it on Channel 6.
Let's do that.
Yeah, let's do it
Okay.
that way.
You know, let's not spend the money.
Okay, all right, I will do that.
I'll
especially since the general public can't buy the Armada Times unless they subscribe nowadays.
Yeah. It's getting, it's not such a good way of advising our people. I don't know what is the best way anymore.
I don't either.
Maybe doing a newsletter eventually?
We need a Facebook account.
The water bills just went out already.
Yeah, they did.
Water bills. Well, if we don't have anyone, we could put in the next water bill,
Yeah.
right?
I hope we fill it by then.
Yes. Okay,
Hey, again,
Thank
if
you.
you guys know of anybody,
Yeah,
have
that's
them
the
call
best
me or
way is
something
word
like
of
that.
mouth.
maybe we can get Wayne in there.
Yeah.
He'd be
mention-
good.
I'll mention
He'd
that.
be
That'd
good.
for
Oh,
Yes,
yeah,
it
it would
would.
be good for him.
Okay, next agenda item is comp time payout. Are there any public comments? Any public comments? Hearing none, Ms. Polis, your agenda item.
Paul Vianney is asked to be paid out, part of his accumulated comp time, and it totals $366.13. We do this every once in a while, when their time gets up, they ask to be paid out, so that's what he's doing.
I'll resolve to grant the request made by Paul Vianney for payment of comp time in the amount of $366.13.
Motion by Mr. Audi, is there a second?
Support.
Support by Mr. Ballard. Any other discussion? I believe it's both, isn't it?
Audie?
Yes.
Ballard?
Yes.
Stirrett?
Yes.
Wolock? Cooper?
Yes.
Clark?
Yes.
Cronin?
Yeah.
Motion passes. Thank you. Next agenda item is the computer purchase for the office. Are there any public comments? Any public comments? Hearing
Let
none,
Joe do
this
this
is
one.
the village treasurer and village clerk's agenda
I'm
item.
gonna let the treasurer do this one.
This is the rotation schedule for the computers that we have in the office, and mine was this budget year, so I only have a couple
She's
months to
doing this
get
with
it in.
distress, she does not wanna do this.
Yeah.
Well, the president one is grinding now.
Is it?
Yes, it's zzzz. You're working on it.
Well, we could probably swap yours, however, you know,
Yeah.
but, okay.
Just to let you know, I was in here, Michelle can attest, I was here for 2 hours trying to open a document, and I just finally emailed
Well,
it to my
thanks for this
home.
for Becky, because when mine crashes, I'm at loss, I know.
Yeah,
Computer's
so
good.
Joe needs one.
And Becky's good about getting things reset back up on the network and
Yeah.
things, so. And I think she's looked at yours a couple of times.
Mm-hmm,
Yeah, we had Aaron look at it too, I see
Mhm.
he's here.
and we're having issues with it.
Buy one, come
Well,
April 1st.
We've got, yeah, I was saying, right, we've got the
Right.
next budget coming
Right.
up. and we
I just
did
wanted to let you know that,
Early on in the budget.
Yeah.
I think the DPW is scheduled for a computer in this rotation year coming up too.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's.
This is, I think too, this amount is less than what we budgeted, I think we budgeted $750.
Oh, yes, it was.
Right.
So,
Madam President, I'll resolve to accept the quote from Dell in the not-to-exceed amount of $668.14 to purchase a computer system as allowed for in the 2013 to 2014 budget for the village office.
motion by Mr. Ballard, is there a second?
Support.
Support by Mr. Clark. Any other discussion? Roll call again, please.
Ballard,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Wolock,
Yes.
Stirrett,
Yes.
Cronin,
Yes.
Audie,
Yes.
Cooper.
Yes. Motion passes. That concludes our new business. Upcoming agenda items, we have the bridge project. Are there any other upcoming agenda items anyone would like to add?
Well, I would hope to have a executive session at the next meeting. And hopefully some kind of update from all the great ideas that I'm gonna get from all council people for our CDBG distribution, so.
Speaking of that, I'm sure we could probably fit in 10 or 15,000 on sidewalks. Couldn't we find some that qualify?
I don't know.
I know.
I
I
thought
think
we
we've
did the whole-
exhausted every
Well, at
sidewalk
the
that we
corner
can
of Fair
use.
and Prospect Street, sidewalks every which
Oh,
way,
they're
real
terrible.
trip hazard along there.
They are terrible.
It's just one house, but
Is it,
I don't know.
is it
If we're gonna do
DDA
that, we'll
district?
take the
No.
whole street out.
Then
No.
how can we do it?
We did them all in the DDA already.
You'd have to do an income
We'd
survey
have to
on
do
the
it, and
whole street.
we'd have to get the income survey done. That's
Right.
the other issue. I mean,
Can
it's
you-
not just doing it, it's getting it done.
Can you get me the forms? I'll go out and do the income survey. I've done it before.
I can talk to the county about that.
Good.
I don't wanna waste your time doing it if they're gonna say, well, no, that's, you know, it won't
Okay,
be
yeah,
much
right.
use,
Find
so,
out
yeah.
and get them as soon as possible.
Any other upcoming agenda items? Hearing none, any citizen comment? Any other citizen comment? Hearing none, any council comments?
I do. It's been a heck of a winter already. There's a lot of sidewalks that aren't getting shoveled. And I just want to remind people, if you've got a fire hydrant out front, if you would please dig out the snow around it. It could help you out or a neighbor if it's ever needed.
Steve, if they do have a fire hydrant that is plugged, don't contact the village office, I'll see to it, the boys get up there and take it out.
Okay.
So I don't want people digging around the fire hydrants, you know, with a front loader or something like that, hit the
Well,
fire hydrant, you know.
Yeah.
I've seen that happen.
Please take it out my hand.
Yeah. Is that it, Mr. Klein?
Yes.
Okay, any other council comments? Any
Stay
other
warm.
council comment? Yes, no kidding. Hearing none, any community events?
There's a blood drive at the fire department on February 28th, I believe. The last day of the month. I think the last time I talked to them, they were still looking for 4 or 5 people to get blood.
Okay, perfect.
And February 8th is the paddle dance.
Okay, and then I think Armada baseball sign up is coming up too in February. I don't remember the exact date.
You know.
You don't know anymore, Mr.
Not
Stewart?
in that
Okay,
anymore, sorry.
all right.
We
The
also-
information will be coming home through the school district, I know that,
I know
so
they have a bowling fundraiser coming up also, I think in
that I don't.
February. Well, I'll have to get that for you the next time, I'm sorry.
Okay, no, that's okay. Any other community events? Hearing none, we have no closed session tonight. The time is now 7:34. Is there a motion to adjourn? Motion by Mr. Wolak, is there a second? Second by Mr. Conan. Any other discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you.